Welcome. Welcome to you all here in our beautiful temple, and for those of you at home, we welcome you. We're so happy to receive our special guests from many faith traditions. Our Buddhist tradition speaks of 84,000 paths to enlightenment. We welcome these honored guests who bring their thoughts on compassion from their traditions. We all feel pretty beat up and stressed to the limit these days. The 2-week pause in 2020 has morphed into unending fear and trepidation. Our faith traditions have been an essential refuge from all of that. What really gets us through the night. Their inherent compassion, systematic offering of peace and loving kindness in the face of everything life can throw up is a refuge and a cure. Compassion. We all need it, and we can all give it. When we see someone in distress and we feel their pain as if it were our own and try to eliminate it or lessen that pain, this is compassion. In our tradition, compassion is the Buddha. So our own spiritual development blossoms quite naturally in concern for the welfare of others and comes to full bloom in this highest virtue, compassion. But first, we will share the bell offering as we chant our sacred sutra from 850 years ago. We will invite the temple bell to ring 108 times, or ish, maybe more, maybe less, letting go of the things that hold us back from compassion and seeing clearly. Everyone is welcome and encouraged to invite the bell to toll. First, bow to the wisdom and compassion of the universe here on our altar. Then invite the bell to sound 2 times with this stick right here, as you saw. Think of an impediment or an obstacle that is an obstacle to your sharing compassion, compassionate action. Let go of that obstacle as you ring the bell, and then bow again in gratitude. Thank you. Buddham saranam gacchami, dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. Shoshinge Kimyo muryo junyorai Namu fukashigi ko hozo bosai niji Zaisei jizai obusho
都県勝部浄土院国土林田自然幕根ル無常首相願長法慶右大偶勢五公子唯死生十十世名称文字法無法無量無変更無下無体公園の少女歓喜知恵公無断難死無償公超日が交渉人生一切群上無交渉本願名号少女語死神珍行願理院上等学章大涅槃必死滅道願成就如来所意公主世唯世弥陀本願会五辱悪事群上会往生如来両実言の法一年喜愛心不断煩悩特涅槃本性逆法再永入尿臭死入海一味聖主信仰上昇後火の水波無明暗頓内心臓死運無上腹心事心人天非尿に古墳無運無死下妙無暗逆心謙虚大狂気即応超税後悪臭一切全幕本部人本心如来偶税願仏言広大小芸者税に妙分だりけ弥陀部本元年部邪剣教魔なく修上信行十字人に難中死難昔インド最天子論芸中華自治一期思考層現代小構成小異如来本税大き釈迦如来ヨガ戦一種五名南天軸流十大寺出頭世出の財波運無権先世大乗無情法召喚議事小安楽賢治難行六六信行異行指導楽億年弥陀部本願自年即自流筆上唯の上昇如来語大悲偶税音天神菩薩増論世奇妙無下根如来平修たら謙信寺高専王朝大聖願こういう本願力栄光二度群上小維心非入空毒大崩壊筆脈入大永収集特使蓮華造世界即小信用法小心有本の人間人図入賞自音自王下本自論乱両天使上高乱小菩薩大三蔵ルシ十上教本性専業気楽法天神菩薩論修下報道因果見世願大願こういう他力少女死因唯心人惑前本部新人法承知生じ即涅槃必死無量光明道小雨修上回復系当社継承道難所有名浄土活入万全自力変言中 円満特合感染症三風三神慶音言増魔法明道非因異生増惑地偶税思案了解証明か全道独名部所意公愛上三両逆枠公明明語権因縁介入本願大地会行者小樹混合心狂気一年総合用意大東逆三人即所法所市上楽原神公開一大教延期安養管理祭先祖終身反戦人法慶二道小弁流国十悪人唯勝部化薬剤非正集中門の証言水不見大非無権上昇が本次元空明仏教天民全幕本部人新宗教書後編集戦弱本願具惑星現代生じ臨伝芸慶地義上位少子即入着上無意楽非知信事に納入不教大自主死と上才無変極辱悪同族自主愚道心唯過信し放送せナムアミダアブナムアミダアムナムアミダアムナムは阿弥陀仏なむ阿弥陀仏なむ弥陀成部のこの方は今に自己を浜へり星の小売えぬきわもなくせのもみょうを照らすなりナムアミダムナムアミダムナムは阿弥陀仏な阿弥陀仏 ミダブナムゲダの降臨きはもなし高速かむるものはみなうむを離ると述べたもおう平等確に奇妙せよナムは阿弥陀仏ナムは阿弥陀仏ナムは阿弥陀ナムアミダアムナムアミダアムナアムアミダアムナムは阿弥陀仏ナアムは阿弥陀アムナム少女光明並びなしぐしこうのゆえなれば一切のご受けものぞこり入秘境へを奇妙せよ栄光願にしくどく平等聖祭道菩提心往生は安楽公何万ダブ何万ダブ何万ダブ何万ダブ何万ダブナマンダムナマンダ
I am Rajan Zed. I am the president of Universal Society of Hinduism. First, let us all rise and give standing ovation to Reverend Shelley L. Fisher and Reverend Matthew T. Fisher, whose tireless efforts please be seated here. Thank you. Whose tireless efforts bring us together in this delightful and meaningful event year after year after year. Despite our seriously different traditions, we, the Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, Jews, Baha'is, Native Americans, and others, are here together in a remarkable interfaith gesture to welcome 2022, which sends a positive signal of loving kindness, hope, and harmony for 2022. We assemble this service to invoke some divinity in welcoming another important year in our lives and seek blessings from the Almighty, whom some call God, but I prefer referring as unproduced producer of all. We strongly feel that prayers are a more appropriate and meaningful way to welcome the new year to our lives than gambling and drinking in the casinos and bars. So we are proud of our multi-faith unity in Northern Nevada. We hope that the world will someday follow our lead to become a more harmonious, loving, and kind place. Let us take a pledge to make our contribution to the loving kindness, compassion, and goodwill in 2022. So please repeat after me. I shall contribute to and promote loving kindness,
and
compassion,
and
goodwill
goodwill
in 2022.
2022.
Thank you. Today's theme is compassion, which in Sanskrit is called karuna, and which simply means a strong feeling of sympathy and sadness for the suffering or bad luck of others and a wish to help them. Let us all go for it. Om. So I will read a short Hindu prayer, and I shall be reading from ancient Hindu scriptures, some as old as 1500 BCE in Sanskrit, then interpret in English. I shall start with Gayatri Mantra, which is considered the most sacred mantra in Hinduism. I will read its English interpretation. It goes like this. We meditate on the transcendental glory of the Deity Supreme, who's inside the heart of the earth, inside the life of the sky, and inside the soul of the heaven. May He stimulate and illuminate our minds. Now I shall appreciate if all rise, please, and repeat after me the Gayatri Mantra in original Sanskrit. This is the most sacred mantra in Hinduism. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha Tat Savitur Varenayam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodhyat. Please be seated. Thank you. Astoma Sadgamya Tamsoma Jyotirgamya Mrityor Mamratam Gamya. Lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Tasmada Sakta Statam Karyam Karma Samachara. Sakto Hyacharan Karma Parma Panoti Purusha. Karma Neva Hi Samsiddhi Mastita Jankadya. Loka Sangreha Mevapi Sampa Shankar Tumrahasi. Strive constantly to serve the welfare of the world. By devotion to selfless, one attains the supreme goal of life. Do your work with the welfare of others always in mind. Om Saha Navavatu, Saha Nobanaktu, Saha Viryan Karba Bahai, Tejasvi Nava Dita Mastu, Ma Vidvisa Bahai. May we be protected together. May we be nourished together. May we work together with great vigor. May our study be enlightening. May no obstacle arise between us. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om. Thank you.
So what a joy for me to be with you. I'm Chuck Durante from around the corner downtown at St. Thomas Aquinas Cathedral, and I am grateful for the invitation from Shelley and Matthew to be here, and for my colleagues and those tolerating me, because we have a service that starts at midnight that I need to go right from here and prepare for in the final parts. So thank you for seeing me go out the door right after. My apologies. I received a message from a cousin in Italy this morning that read, Buona fine 2021, gli ostacoli del cuore. Now, I understood a little bit of it. It's pretty short, but I must admit I needed translation assistance from Google. But it basically is a wish for a good ending to 2021, and literally any hindrances or obstacles of the heart. Isn't that beautiful? That's a typical greeting of Happy New Year. A prayer for the removal of any hindrances in our hearts. Ultimately, I think that is central to true compassion. For the Latin root of the word is passio, that is suffering. Compassio, to suffer with. As Shelley mentioned earlier, to have compassion for others is not only to recognize pain and suffering, but to be able to feel it within our own hearts. Not in a codependent, sappy sort of way where we all get stuck, but in a way that unites us and helps us to understand and listen to one another. It moves us to efforts to change the sufferings of others where it is possible, and in any event, to journey with or accompany others in the midst of suffering. I think removing the obstacles in our hearts is necessary to practicing compassion for others and for ourselves, and to demonstrating compassion in our world. The obstacles of self-centeredness or self-hatred, of greed or ego, lead to, as we've seen, speaking or living a truth that doesn't exist, but a story that we tell ourselves. And if we can't live truthfully, we cannot live compassionately. The conclusion of that message from Italy said, Buon inizio. That one I got. Literally, wishes for a good beginning. Buon inizio. I think a wonderful way to frame a decision to live in compassion in 2022. A good beginning. Blessings and Happy New Year to all. Thank you. Thank you.
come together, we gather to witness, we stand united in you. We face the darkness, we lit a fire, our one desire is true. We come to witness the gathering, we come to worship, and now we sing of the glory of the love in you and me. We come to witness, yes, the gathering, Come out of darkness from where you've been, and let the healing just begin. Lay down your burdens, lay down your shame. We come to witness thy holiness. Yeah, yeah. We come to witness the gathering. We come to worship, and now we sing of the glory of the love in you and me. We come to witness, yeah, yeah, the gathering, yeah, yeah, the gathering. We sit at the table, we taste the grace. All who are weary, lift up your face. We're lifted higher, it's not so far. We come together, come as we are, yeah, 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 yeah. We come to witness the gathering. We come to worship, and now we sing of the glory of the love in you and me. We come to witness, yeah, yes, the gathering, the gathering, the gathering, yeah, yeah, yes.
I'm tangled a bit. One extra object, and a human being cannot, we can only handle so many things at once. So, I am Matthew Fisher, also a resident priest at Reno Buddhist Center. What do we mean by compassion, or karuna in our tradition? Compassion is a compound experience. It carries the feeling of shared suffering, as Rajan mentioned, combined with a desire to reduce the suffering of another. Compassion happens through empathy, but only exists in our action. Compassionate acts recognize suffering and try to alleviate it as if it was our own. The sutra teaches that Konon Bodhisattva is compassion in form. This gentle person here on the scroll on the wall, you see she is pictured with a weeping willow branch in her hand, suggesting sadness encountering suffering. She uses the branch to sprinkle the nectar of life on all beings. Sometimes she has many arms, each hand holding a helpful implement. Kanon was deeply determined when she first embarked on her mission of compassion. She made a promise to listen to all the sufferings of all sentient beings. She vowed that if she failed, she would shatter into 1,000 pieces and never reach enlightenment. Kanon's compassion arises from the wisdom of realizing the interdependence of all beings and essential oneness. It is non-dualistic kindness. Everything exists through interwoven, interdependent, interconnected causes and conditions. Kanon shows us when we make kindness real in our life, compassion rises. When Kanon sees the ill, the troubled, and the fearful, she identifies with their plight. Their pain is her pain, and this operates in us. We are most kind to others when we realize that we share the common disorienting experience of impermanence. It carries us along in the flow of time in the ocean of births and deaths. When we are compassionate, we benefit in many ways ourselves. These effects occur both in ourselves and on the world around us. The compassion of Kanon flowing through us. The Dalai Lama sees the effects of compassion in this way. I have found that the greatest degree of inner tranquility comes from developing love and compassion. The more we care for the happiness of others, the greater is our own well-being. Cultivating a close, warm-hearted feeling for others automatically puts our mind at ease. It is the ultimate source of success in life. He goes on to say, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Compassion is my religion. No need for temples, no need for complicated philosophy. Our own heart is our temple, and the philosophy is compassion. End quote. We follow this practice for one important reason: to make real the promise of Kanon, to hear the cries of the world. It is not an empty promise. It is one that is fulfilled every day. We each have moments of connection, the kindness with others, either receiving or giving it. And we are the manifestation of Kanon in that moment. We are her. She hears and sees through our eyes. Her hands are our hands, helping and comforting. Kanon isn't high and separate from us all. A traditional Chinese poem says it this way: the Dharma body of Kanon is neither male nor female. Even the body is not the body. What attributes can there be? Let it be known for all Buddhists. Do not cling to form. The Bodhisattva is you, not the picture or the image. The universal gate of compassion and Kanon Bodhisattva emphasize the importance of being in this world, being involved, relieving suffering in this world, here and now. Kanon is a bodhisattva of the world who takes on a great variety of human forms and who embodies compassionate wisdom in the real world, down here, with all of us. This is Kanon. She is compassion. Compassionate action promises to listen and relieve the suffering of sentient beings in the 10 directions. Please allow her to flow through you every day of 2022. Namo loves. Namo loves.
Good evening. I'm James Costco. I'm the pastor at what is going to soon be Olympic Valley Chapel of the United Church of Christ. And I am grateful to be here tonight. I'm grateful that each one of you has brought your own presence and energy and spirit to this gathering. I am blessed by that. I think it's been fewer than this many times since I've been in a group this size in the last 2 years. So this is a very special occasion for me. And thank you, Reverends Matthew and Shelley, for this compassionate hosting of this event to bring the new year into our city. And hopefully it'll be one filled with love and strength and wellness. The author, Brené Brown, writes a story about what her mother would teach her and her siblings. And one lesson was to never look away from people's pain. And she says the lesson was simple. Don't look away. Don't look down. Don't pretend to not see who is hurting. Look people in the eye, even when their pain is overwhelming. And when you are in pain, find people who can look you in the eye. We need to know we are not alone, especially when we are hurting. This lesson is one of the greatest gifts of my life, she writes. Brené's mother is also a wise woman. Not looking away is the first step in creating compassion. This is where we start because pain and suffering are not hard to find. We see them every day on our streets, in the markets, in the schools, in the hospitals, and yes, even in our places of worship. I have heard that every faith tradition has some version of what's commonly known as the Golden Rule, and it can be expressed in many ways positively, as in treat others in the way you would like to be treated, or negatively in do not treat others in ways that you would not like to be treated, and sort of responsively in this way, what you wish upon others, you wish upon yourself. The principle is essentially the same in each one. And from what I've read, this concept dates back at least 2,500 years to the early Confucian times. And we all know it as a kind of universal truth that binds humanity together as a kind of universal truth. And it's a basic belief of regard that we hold for one another, no matter where we are or where we are in terms of other people. And there is an aspect to this idea that leaves me feeling a little bit empty, that there should be something more to this idea and how we employ it in our lives. Of course, people like to take a good idea and take it another step or two further if they can. So I've seen that besides the golden rule, we now have the platinum rule and a double platinum rule and even a diamond rule. But this makes me wonder why something so universally needed and welcomed as compassion should be named after things that are exceedingly rare. Platinum and diamonds are valuable partly because of their scarcity. We don't want compassion to be scarce. It won't lose value if it becomes exceedingly common. My sense is that we would all like compassion to be much more common, even ordinary. And aside from scarcity, I feel that there is something else about the golden rule that needs our attention. And it seems that the golden rule is usually seen as an encounter between two people. I help you, and you help me. And this is closer to the definition, I think, of charity than of love. And love needs to be the foundation of compassion if it is to be meaningful and effective. Love is what Brene Brown's mother was teaching her children. Don't look away. The giant of anti-apartheid work in South Africa, Desmond Tutu, wrote, "There comes a point where we need to stop pulling people out of the river, and we need to go upstream and find out why they're falling in." He is saying that compassion in the form of charity ultimately becomes too small compared to the size of people's needs. And we soon ask, how are all these people falling into the river? How are all these people living without food or shelter? How are all these people surviving after their homes and livelihoods are burned in wildfires? How are all these people going to survive rising sea levels and chronic droughts and giant tornadoes that happen even in December? How are we going to make sure people get what they need to have families and find peace in their lives? The answer, my friends, is threefold. We must never look away, and we must move beyond charity and do our work from a center of love. And we must go up the river and find out why so many people are falling in. Our earth, our home, is crying out to us, pleading for our compassion. Our Mother Earth is crying for her children and wants our help to stop inflicting pain on her day after day, year after year, to see her by not looking away, to love her and all our sisters and brothers. This is our compassion. This is our golden rule. This is not our golden rule. It is the rule of air, of ocean, of land, and the life that all these creatures live in with us. My prayer is that we may all find some enlightenment about compassion and the world we live in, and the world we live in with each other, and that we may be blessed with a compassionate life and a compassionate world, so that our common experience may be one of hope and joy and health and fulfillment. May it be so.
If anyone would like to donate a 12-channel octopus and control panel to Reno Buddhist Center, you're welcome to do that at any time, and this sort of thing wouldn't be necessary. Thank you.
check. 1. It's an honor to be here again. I'm going to dedicate this song to Savina Versalis and her family who couldn't be here tonight. As Orville Lookinghorse says, all nations, all faiths, one prayer. And my songs are my prayer. She is a boat, she is a light, high on a hill, in dark of night. She is a wave, she is the deep, she is the dark, where angels sleep. When all is still and peace abides, she carries me to the other side. She carries me, she carries me, she carries me to the other side. Sing this. She carries me, she carries me, she carries me to the other side. 1,000 arms, 1,000 eyes, 1,000 ears to hear our cries. She is a gate, she is the door, she leads me through and back once more. When day has dawned and death is nigh, she'll carry me to the other side. She carries me, you sing. She carries me, she carries me to the other side. She is the first, she is the last, she is the future and the past. Mother to all, earth and sky, she carries me to the other side. She carries me, she carries me, she carries me to the other side. Again, she carries me, she carries me, she carries me to the other side. Now, if you would mute again.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you guys from different religion, different background. I wish every one of you very happy holidays and very happy New Year. I'm glad to be here, and I'm thankful for the Buddhist Church and Interfaith Committee to put this wonderful program together to bring the people together in this event. I have a couple of readings from Baha'u'llah and Abdul Baha, the founder of the Baha'i faith, talking about compassion. We exalt the loved ones of God to observe justice and fairness, and to do that which would promote the friends of God to evince tender mercy and compassion towards each other. He is in truth the consoler, the compassionate, the all bountiful. God grant that all men may be graciously aided to observe that which the tongue of one true God hath uttered, and if they put into practice what we have set forth, God exalted his glory will assuredly double their portion through the heaven of his bounty. Verily, he is the generous, the forgiving, the compassionate. O compassionate God, thanks be to thee, for thou hast awakened and made me conscious. Thou hast given me a seeing eye and favored me with a hearing ear, had led me to thy kingdom and guided me to thy path. Thou hast shown me the right way and caused me to enter the ark of deliverance. O God, keep me steadfast and make me firm and staunch. Protect me from violent tastes and preserve and shelter me in the strongly forfeited forestal of thy covenant and testament. Thou art the powerful, thou art the seeing, thou art the hearing. O thou the compassionate God, bestow upon me a heart which, like upon a glass, may be illumined with the light of thy love, and confirm upon me thoughts that which may change this world into the rose garden through the outpourings of thy heavenly grace. Thou art the compassionate, the merciful, thou art the great beneficent God, Abdul Baha. Wishing everyone very happy 2020.
Good evening, everybody. Tigo ita tikiti kita leo gasuka kamangao. Baba amma LL gasuka kamangao. Hang lauti, tung lauti, well melti, patwalu. Ira di suya se di milo se. Thank you all for being here, and real grateful to be here. My brother Brian couldn't make it, and he's doing something else now, so I'm grateful to be able to share with you all. I'm Washo. Washishu is what our name is. This is our home territory, and so for a lot of us indigenous people, I want to say to all of you, welcome home. Welcome home. So now we can get busy and take care of the responsibility that is at hand. And this compassion thing is really interesting because right now is a very profound time for us. We have been waiting for years and years for this period of time, so that what my job is here is to bring people back to the heart, bring them back to the circle of life, so they can continue with what they had done before. And so for me, that's what I've returned back to Earth for. And for the past 59 years, I've been struggling because I wasn't supposed to do anything until now. And so now where I'm at, I want to let everybody know we're in that prophetic time. What I was told by my elders, when you get there, you're going to be in the beginning of time, like Eden. So we have the chance to put everything that we can into something that's going to affect the next 26,000 years. Between 2012 and 2032, there's a doorway of opening for the human being to put his intention, every bit of his intention, to the next 26,000 year design system for era for the next generations. So right now, ceremonial time for a lot of Native people is putting out the love, putting out the healing, and putting out the song and the prayers for the animals, the plants, the water, for each other. And so what I do is I teach people how to do a tobacco ceremony using tobacco, introduce themselves to the spirit, but you want to introduce yourself to all the spirits, the animals, the plants, all the entities around, but you introduce themselves to who you are, your earth name, who are you, you know? To myself, I'm Art George, birth name, but I'm Dilok Patongi, Mountain Eagle, because I'm bringing the mountains back into people's heart because I'm an eagle and I can see that. So as I'm bringing this in, I want you all to know this, that you're in time right now where your intentions are very important. Every bit of what you think, what you believe, and what you say goes into the next design for your children, your children's children. So as we do this, we do a round dance, and when we round dance, we hold hands, we dance in a circle, but we create an orb, an energy orb of healing, not only for the animals and the plants and the earth, but for ourselves. And for the people on earth, we're supposed to be family oriented. I know a lot of people aren't family oriented. I have a lot of people in my family that are not really, people that you would want in your family because, they do wrong. So, but for me, the compassion part is knowing that by giving them the dance back, by giving them prayer back, then they're able to stand on their own again. Because right now, people have lost their way because they don't know how to stand up for themselves. So, as I'm going to sing two songs for you. One song is a chant that allows, when you're dancing, to put your energy into the song that is totally and fully what you are, who you are and what you have inside. So that's the first song. And then the second one is a celebration song. So it allows us all to celebrate who we are. So I'll sing this one song here first, and if you can, pick it up. It's real simple. When you do get the song, you can hold hands and round dance in a circle and create that orb yourself with your own family at home. So, and this is what it's all about, is bringing everybody together so everybody has a part in the design of what our intentions are, from the kids all the way to the adults and old people. Everybody together. Nowhere hen, 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 nowhere hen. Nowhere hen, nowhere hen, nowhere hen, nowhere hen, nowhere hen, nowhere hen. And as we sing that song and we put our intentions into the circle, we allow people to heal, we allow ourselves to heal, and we also allow ourselves to be part of each other with our heart in the circle. And then our dances, we dance all night long from sundown to sunup. And so that you give all the energy and all your strength to those that are suffering, those that are needing your help. And if you can't do anything for them, right now is a good time to do it because you can do the prayer together, songs together. So, and this is a celebration song here where we sing this one, allowing ourselves to celebrate dancing all night and putting the strength into the dance, into the circle, for the women, for the animals, for the plants, for the earth and water, all life. Wamai hoyamaroya ne we aina wamai hoyamaroya ne we aina huwa we hoyamaro wawa we hayawain wamai hoyamaroya ne Hey, I. Wamai, wayamanoyane, wayaina. Wamai, wayamanoyane, wayaina. Hoa, way, wayamano, wawawe, hi, wine. Wamai, wayamanoyane, hey, I. Wamai, wayamanoyane, wayaina. Wamai, wayamanoyane, wayaina. Hoa, way, wayamano, wawawe, hi, wine. Hi, wine. Ah, that song there always reminds me when I sing it, it always allows ourselves to remind us of who we are. We're all one people and we're no different than anything. We're all human. We're all one big family, no matter where we came from on this earth. And so by the native people wanting to return back to earth, we want to be accepted returning back as we are, not as some prototype of an Indian. Because we're not Indian, that was a made-up story. Each one of us have a name, an identity. And just like us, my Washoe people, we don't use a drum, because we just sing just with our voice. Because the tone of your voice is very powerful. And if you all do it together, you can heal things. Like Lake Tahoe, it's got the invasive species in there. If we all circled that lake and held hands and circle dance and round dance, we could heal that lake. That's how powerful the human beings are. But we just got to learn how to hold hands first. That's the part that we got to get past. So as we learn to do tobacco ceremony, learn to do a round dance, we help ourselves to include ourselves into the big family, not just Washoe, not just German, not just Basque, but all people of all the world. We're all here together. Let's take this information that we pull together and let's send it back home so they can heal. So that's what the purpose is behind this, is to get that circle going so that the life that's missing in our lives returns. Because we carry the light. The light doesn't come from somewhere else. It comes from inside of us. And that person said, treat people how you want to be treated. My grandma told me that ever since I was little. So, the biblical terms that you use in the Bible, same thing, same as the way we believe, but it's inside of us. So, blessings to everybody with anything that's going on this year. This is the beginning of time. Bless everybody, all their health, and the animals and the plants and everything, that we all be good managers. Just put good intentions for everything, compassion, and it will come back to you. So, blessings.
Thank you. May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung. May you stay, forever young. May you grow up to be righteous. May you grow up to be true. May you always share the love and feel the light that's within you. May you always be courageous, stand upright and be strong. May you stay, yeah, yeah, forever young. Forever young. Forever young. Yeah, yeah, yeah. May you stay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Forever May your hands always be busy. May your speed always be swift. May you have a strong foundation and the winds of change and shift. May your song always be joyful. May your song always be sung. May you stay. Yes, forever young. Forever young, yeah, yeah, yeah. Forever young. May you stay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Forever young. May you stay. Oh, yes, forever young.
May you stay forever young. Amen. Thank you. To the leader of this temple, Reverend Matt and Shelley Fisher, thank you for opening your doors another year as we come to celebrate and to embrace what 2022 has in store for us. There is a passage. I'm Sherman Baker, chaplain at the VA Medical Center and also the associate minister at Second Baptist Church. And I think this is about my third or fourth year, and it's been a blessing to just come and to celebrate the goodness of what God is doing within us. There's a word tonight that I'd just like to share with you on the topic of compassion. And it comes from the Holy Bible, the New Testament, the Gospel of Mark, the first chapter, the 40th through the 45th verse. And you will find these words as Jesus heals a man with leprosy. A man with leprosy came to him and begged him on his knees, "If you're willing, can you clean me?" Jesus was indignated. He reached out his hand and touched the man. "I am willing," he said, "be clean." Immediately, the leprosy left him and he was cleaned. Jesus sent him away at once with a strong warning. "See that you don't tell this to anyone, but go and show yourself to the priest and offer the sacrifice that Moses commanded for your cleansing as a testimony to them." Instead, he went and entered town openly, but stayed outside in a lonely place. And yet the people still came to him from everywhere. Move with compassion. Three of the most powerful, significant, remarkable words in our scripture are move with compassion. Jesus was moved with compassion. In Matthew's the 9th chapter, when he saw the large crowd, he had compassion on them. Matthew's the 14th chapter, when they were in need of food, and Jesus asked his disciples, search among you to see who might have some. And they found some fish and some bread, and he was moved with compassion to feed the multitudes of people. Every one of us here tonight are moved with compassion. We all have something within us that motivates us to be who we are, to be what we are. We are all moved by something. I served in the military as an Army chaplain for 30 long years. So I was motivated by something to stay in uniform for that length of time. Lived all across the country, moved every 2 to 3 years, went to Iraq and unaccompanied tours, and left my family where I went and served wherever the government felt that we all move with compassion. What moves you? Is it success? Is it family? Is it friends? Is it politics? Is it love? We are all moved and motivated by something. In this pericope of Mark, that first chapter, we see an individual with a very painful disease. And Jesus was motivated, and he was moved to do whatever he could possibly do to heal this young man. He was moved with love, just like he's moved with love with each of us. And this man suffered leprosy. He came and he begged on his knees. And in the biblical term, leprosy is the worst of any disease that one could obtain, that one could have. Leprosy, the leopard was the outcast. They were unclean. They were considered contagious and contaminated. They were not allowed to be in public. And if they came in public, they had to announce in a loud voice, unclean, unclean, so people could get out from around them. And as a matter of fact, throughout scriptures, leprosy is the picture of our sin. We're corrupt, condemned, contaminated, and this leprosy had one request. And that request, if you're willing, if you are able, can you make me clean? And Jesus, he moves with compassion. He healed the man. He was motivated to cleanse him of his disease. He was motivated to cleanse them of his dreadful deformities. The leopard could not hide his disease that left him disfigured. But Jesus heard the cry, and he answered his prayer. He was obedient in his will. The question that I ask as we prepare to celebrate a new year, what about us? How compassionate are we as we say goodbye to an old year and enter into a new year? How compassionate are we? This man with leprosy approached Jesus with his need, and he moved with compassion. I challenge each of you to live a life of compassion. Practice random acts of kindness. Share in the suffering of others. Show special kindness to those who are going through the challenges of life. Practice compassion. Practice compassion to those who mistreat you, to those who forsake you. Be kind to one another. Be kind to yourself. Treat everyone with respect. Build that genuine human connection. Yes, we all live private lives, but be intentional about choosing to share with others. Accept others' life experiences. Sometimes people share their story to be heard, not for advice. Be compassionate. Be kind to all. Our world, the world that we live in, is in need of compassionate souls who are willing to selflessly help others. We can make this world more compassionate as we move into 2022 if we do our part to make ourselves more compassionate. Amen.
Before Rabbi Beth speaks, we want to remind everyone that we hold a time bubble here, and we don't allow the year to change until we've heard all our friends. So please stick with us. Okay. We would like to hear your words, please.
Okay, I tried to get out of it. Sorry. No, I'm happy to be here. And I know it's after midnight, so thank you all for your patience.
It's not after midnight in this time bubble.
It's not after midnight
It's not
in the
after
time
midnight.
bubble. Okay, sorry.
Say with me, it's not after midnight. It's not after midnight.
Fair enough. Okay, so God willing, I'll be quick, yes? My name's Rabbi Beth, and it's such an honor to be here, always with all of you compassionate folks. I can just look at you and see this awesomeness. Really, I'm not kidding. That's why I love coming here. So compassion from a Jewish perspective is a way to emulate God. From a Jewish perspective, let me say that God isn't necessarily an entity. God may be a force or a process or a verb. Or one word, one of my favorite words for God in Hebrew is compassion, the compassionate one. And that's the word that we call on, the name of God that we call on, the compassionate one, after we have been satisfied with a meal. Harakaman, the compassionate one. According to Jewish thought, it's to govern human relationships. Compassion, it's this undergirding, essential, fundamental. And another side piece, which we really haven't talked about tonight, is how we are to treat animals. Our sages say, if we are compassionate to animals, heaven will be compassionate to us. So there's a couple of stories. One is the reason that Moses became the leader of the Jewish people, one of them is a couple millennia ago, there was this story written about him, which said he was tending a flock, and the lamb in the flock decided to run away. Now, this is never a good thing when you're a shepherd, right? Because there's all sorts of problems potentially. But this lamb left where they were grazing and headed straight in that direction. And Moses had to run after the lamb. Probably not very happy, but Moses was like, I'm going to follow this lamb, see where it goes. So the lamb goes to a creek and gets some water. And Moses says, oh my goodness, you were probably so thirsty. And he picks up, after the lamb has drank, picks up the lamb and takes the lamb back to the herd. This is why Moses because he carried this lamb, was very compassionate, became the Rock of Israel, one of our founders, teachers. There's also another story of a rabbi from a couple millennia ago, Rabbi Judah Hanasi. And he was sitting on a street where they were headed to market, and in particular, there was a calf that was headed to the slaughterhouse. Now, this calf got away from the people that it was with and came to him and put its head underneath of his legs and had this very sad sound, oh, moo, right? Oh. And Rabbi Judah Hanasi said, hey, look, this is what you were born for. Get over there. Oh, he was not very compassionate to that cow. So as a result, heaven decided to provide him with a little reminder, kidney stones for 13 years, right? So what happened in the 13th year? In the 13th year, his maid was there, and there were, now don't ask me, okay, this is like ancient Palestine, ancient Israel, right? There were weasel pups on his doorstep. They had been born overnight, and the maid was getting ready to take the broom and get rid of them. And he said, no, they were just born, let them stay, right? He was cured. His kidney stones went away. So the world needs compassion. Rabbi Simmons from Aish remarks, it's difficult. Our trust in our institution has evaporated. Politics, the media, big pharma, big business. There's a compassion gap that we currently have. We're all painfully aware of today's polarized political and social climate, half of society viewing the other half as crazy. As a gauge to your level of compassion, ask yourself, if someone is publicly put down or embarrassed, do I enjoy it? Am I happy about it when I see that on my social media or in the news? So I'm going to skip to the end here because honestly, there's just like a few minutes. We'll just go to the end. So how do we get over that piece of not trusting someone else, of seeing the humanity in that other face? How do we move to that place where we feel their pain? There's a story told of a rabbi in Lithuania in the 1800s. His community center was in disrepair, leaving the poor with no place to sleep. Funds were not forthcoming. Sensing a lack of compassion, Rabbi Salant began sleeping in the rundown center, pledging to continue to sleep there until it was fixed. I think about the 7 degrees of temperature tonight in Reno. And what if masses of people decided they were going to sleep on Record Street or somewhere thereby and say, look, we need more to help each other. That kind of compassion where you're willing to put it into action. Be a good listener. Unburden people if it's possible. If someone has weight on their shoulders, don't try to convince them it's nothing. Be empathetic. Help. Empower people. Help them along. Include people. Hospitality. Find common ground. Avoid judging folks. Our tradition says, judge with a hand of merit. So if you're going to think about that other person, judge kindly. Deeply feel. Stories told of a rabbi who took his wife who had broken her leg into the doctor. The doctor said, what's wrong? He said, our leg hurts. Right? When our partner is feeling bad, we are ready to jump into that pit with them to help them out. But yet all of us are one. How willing are we to listen to the homeless guy on the street who needs $1 at the stoplight? Can we give him $1? Can we listen? Show gratitude. Become more sensitive to surroundings. Slow down. Stop looking at smartphones. And send a thank you note to those who have shown you kindness and compassion. I can think of one group of priests right now that may need thank you notes or emails. Anybody else can think of anybody? Okay. So, the shofar is, this one, it comes from a kudu, which is an antelope in Africa. And the shofar is an instrument that we, at some level, hold with metaphor to become like the shofar and let the divine flow through us. So. Amen.
Tonight we will finish by chanting together the Vajrasattva, the 100-syllable chant to the Great Being. It's printed on the back of your order of service. It's on your order of service somewhere. Yes. Ah, it is. Okay. And if you could find it there. If you have an instrument or a drum, please address that instrument and encourage it to sound with the beat of the chant as whatever moves you. And even shoe thumping on the nice big wooden drum floor is okay. So whatever you feel is good. So we'll chant this. Our time bubble continues. It's amazing. We've withheld the year as whenever we feel like it. But it's all through intention and strength of character. So Reverend Shelley will lead us. Her mic is on too. And here we go.
Vajrasattva. One long Om. Deep breath. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya. Vajrasattva teno paditra dijo me bawa. Sukto shayo me bawa. Supokayo me bawa. Anarakto me bawa. Sarasiddhi me. Prayata sarva karma susame. Titsam shriyam kuruhum. Ha 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 ho. Bhagavan sarva tathagata vajra mame mutta vajra bhava mahasamaya sattva ahum peyom Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva teno pratitra dijo me bawa Sukto shayo me bawa Supokayo me bawa Anarakto me bawa Sarasiddhi me Prayata sarva karma sutame Titsam shriyam kuruhu Ha 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 ho Bhagavan sarva tathagata vajra Mame mutta vajra Bhava mahasamaya sattva ahum peyom Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva teno pratitra dijo me bawa Sukto shayo me bawa Supokayo me bawa Anarakto me bawa Sarasiddhi me
Rayata Sarva Karma Sutame Tiksam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 ho Bhagwan Sarva Tathagata Vajra Mame Mutta Vajra Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Preyom Vajra Sattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajra Sattva Teno Padidra Dijo Mevawa Shayo Mevawa Supokayo Mevawa Anakto Mevawa Sarasiti Me Trayata Sarva Karma Sutame Tisam Shriyam Suruhum Ha 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 ho Bhagwan Sarva Tathagata Vajra Mame Mutta Vajra Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Preyom Vajra Sattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajra Sattva Teno Padidra Dijo Mevawa Sutoshayo Mevawa Supokayo Mevawa Anakto Mevawa Sarasiti Me Nayata Sarva Karma Sutame Tiksam Shriyam Puruhum Ha 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 ho Bhagwan Sarva Tathagata Vajra Mame Mutta Vajra Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Woo! Happy New Year, everyone! Happy New Year! Woo!
Thank you all so very
That was
much.
great.
Thank you to our
Thank
guests.
you. Thank you all very, very much.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
I know, everybody wants
Darn
to just
it.
stay.
Let's just all hold hands and dance around the Hondo.
No more bubbles.
No, bubble gone.
Anyone would like to be in the group picture, please come up the front and we can all take a picture together. As you are able.